it's a 3 o'clock program that got us here at 12:30. I've got to be with Pastor Gleaton today in his anniversary, so I said what we'll do is because we have the option of kind of doing our service, I didn't have to have a board meeting to decide that we were going to do 12:30. And go ahead and rest, those of you who are standing. I thought about something. I felt like the movie Bruce Almighty. And some of you don't even know what I'm talking about. But I felt like that movie where Jim Carrey felt like God had been really treating him unfair. You know, like y'all do. God, why everybody else is being blessed and not me? God, why everybody else got so much and not me? God, what have I done wrong? God, I pray. I do everything I'm supposed to. I've been prayed for. I did a whole lot of stuff. But God, just seems like nothing is happening for me. And Bruce got to a point. I'm doing this because the sermon is not that long. So Bruce challenges God, and God tells him, meet me at this particular warehouse in this district where there's no other businesses. And he walks in, and it tells him to go to the next floors and stuff, and he gets there. Anybody seen the movie? Because if you didn't, then you might need to see it. And he gets there, and Morgan Freeman is on a ladder, and he's being an electrician. And so Jim Carrey says to him, "Excuse me, you." And he said, "Yeah, be with you in a minute." I did that just like Morgan. And the light, bright light comes on, and Jim Carrey said, "Wow." He said, "Is it on now?" He said, "I think so." It was just blazing. It was so bright. So he had on these overalls, and he came down the ladder, and he said, "I'm looking for," and he made the statement. He said, "Yeah, I know, I'm him." And he looked at me, he said, "Yeah, right." His overalls out. He had on all white. He stood there and looked at Jim Carrey. He said, "You got me. I'm God." Jim Carrey said, "Yeah, right." Huh? And they kept going on and this, that, and the other. So, I guess what I really want you to understand is that we're looking for him to be something that we've made up. And sometimes the Bible says we entertain the angelic presence of him unaware. So, I'm excited. Because if God has all power, why he can't show up when he wants to? And how he wants to. We're never alone. And he made a promise never to leave us nor forsake. Study those words. Leaving and forsake. Jesus said it because him and sin could not be in the same. So something about him had to die on our stead. I'm teaching now. So what God had to do was never been separated from his Father. God had to do that for a moment. And he said it so we would know it. He said, "Father, why have thou forsaken me?" You don't have that privilege. He's never forsaken you. Even when times are good for you, you ain't making it of your own. When you're at your lowest point and you say to yourself, I can't make it no more, God could really step into your equation and say, you ain't been making it. It's been me all along. So I'm excited. finish this message. I praise God for you. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the 3 o'clock. And those of you who can meet me at Bentley Hill for Pastor Gleaton's anniversary, then I really would appreciate your support. But if you don't meet me there, then it's just going to let me know that I won't have to change the service no more because you ain't going nowhere. I'm sorry, I'm free. Sometimes we change things for the benefit of those who we hope would. You could have did your regular little service, go, we ain't going nowhere. I love you though. And I know that even if you don't go, you're going to be praying for me. Because you don't cease to do that. To all of the sick and shut in, to the bereaved family, which is my family as well. To those of you who have been dealing with some things that have caused have to stop by hospitals and go by urgent cares and all of those things. I had one particular member that I had already purposed and planned. I said, well, I'll check in on her this evening after church, after I get settled in, and she wouldn't allow that, so she decided she would come and be a part of the praise team. I said, okay. I said, well, I guess I don't have to check in because she left the hospital heading to church to go to the praise, be a part of the praise team. To the family that is here visiting from Miami, I thank God for you. To the evangelist, they knew that I had that thing figured out because when I saw them on the yard of the church on the sidewalk, I stopped everything and I said, I need to talk to you first. And I was talking to Deke. I said, hey, glad to have you. And we went on, and then after I did my greetings with him, I said I had to be in order. And I said to the evangelist, God bless you and hope that you're blessed today. And I did that because there's an order and protocol. Husband and wife don't walk up on you and you start talking to the wife. Really? Is that what you're doing? You don't see me standing here? And so I did that, and I said, I'm talk to you. And see, he gave me everything I needed to know, Elder. If he didn't feel like I even needed to address her, he would have started talking for them. Can I tell you how the conversation would have went? I'd have said, Deke, how are you doing? He would have said, we're doing fine. That means you ain't got to say nothing else. I'm speaking on behalf of both of us. We're doing. But he was very pleasant. He was very pleasant. And I extended restoration to him. I said, is there anything you want to do here today? Because I can do that. I ain't got to meet with nobody. Is there anything you want to do? He said, no, I'm good. And I looked at her. I said, anything? She said, no. We're just here visiting our daughter. Y'all can't tell that's her daughter, right? Ooh, Lord, he just gave out two faces in the same and said, look, both of y'all can have this face. You be the mama, you be the daughter. Y'all got the same face. God bless you. Now, that ought to turn this into an hour worth of preaching I had to get, because I ain't have a whole hour. I just had a few minutes. Those who have their Bibles today, I want you to join me on in the book of Galatians. And when you find Galatians, I don't want you to stand today. It's one of them, just let me kind of keep you in a good place. In Galatians 6 and 7, because I'm going to teach something old, newly. Got to go back and get some of this. We got to do some refresher teaching. Because sometimes we get caught up in the way society says things ought to be and what happens. And then God will have you to know, although he is a spirit and he is so much that, he still puts things in natural order at times. And he won't deviate from the natural order that he sets up. So I wanted you to see Galatians 6 and 7. And in Galatians 6 chapter and 7th verse, you'll find these words. God bless your word. It says, be not deceived. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Let me talk to you in layman's terms. Do not be deceived. Don't be fooled. God is not mocked. Let me give you that. He will not be laughed at. God will not be laughed at based on nothing he done said. In other words, God don't say nothing for nothing. Y'all missed that. That was, Angela, you know I did that long time ago. That was real big right there. I say God don't say nothing for nothing. Okay, y'all didn't get it. What I'm saying is God don't say nothing without a purpose. No, you still didn't get it. Let me give it to you. Let me just spoon feed you. God don't say nothing without reasons. He won't be mocked. That means he won't be laughed at. And this is the big one here. He won't be proven wrong. I had a lady on my job. I was telling her, I said, you know, the order of God is that man was made first. I know I get an argument all the time. She said, how you know? You were there? I said, no, but I believe everything else he said. And then I said, but you know what? I ain't finna get into an argument with you because I'm going to lose because you're a female. And you're going to push me to wanting to fight, and I can't fight. So I'm going to lose the argument because I can't fight you. Y'all ain't trying to help me. So she asked me, she said, how you know? Were you there? I wanted to shoot back because I got a quick tongue. You know, I can say things back because I'm always thinking. So when she said, were you there? I could have said, were you? But I didn't want to be disrespectful to her, although I was in my mind. And I said, I believe everything else he says. And he said he made man first. A lot of people don't even understand this. I'm finna give you something big. I've been going back and forth to this. Y'all notice that? Been dealing with that little Genesis piece. He actually made man first. Man was made from the dirt. Woman wasn't. Y'all miss. Y'all don't play with me. Don't try to be all smart and I got a college degree. I already knew that. You thought man and woman came from the dirt. Because when we get ready to bury, we say earth to earth. And we do that for man and female. But in reality, if you check Genesis, man was made from the dirt or from the dust of the earth. When he got ready to make woman, he laid man in the dirt. But he took something out of man and formed woman. He never went to the dirt. That's why women are deceptive. Women can be conniving. Women can do a lot of things, but only men can be dirty. Y'all missed it. Feel like the Lone Ranger right now. Feel like the Lone Ranger, Johnny. I feel like looking at myself saying, who is that masked man? He made him. That's how he did that thing, and that's how he did that thing. That's how he did that thing. You know. I've heard some women call men that you're no good, dirty. You finish it when you get home. So when a woman acts dirty, she acting like a man. Because she's supposed to act dirty because the Bible says the woman made of sugar and spice and everything nice. Hurry up, boy, and get out of that thing. In Galatians, it tells us not to be deceived. tell us that God is not mocked, meaning he will not be laughed at, neither will he be proven wrong. And there's nothing you can do that you can ever go back and say, God, look what you did. Look what you did. God, you messed this up. So then God put a natural, out of nature thing in this scripture. He says, for whatsoever a man soweth, that comes attached with the principle. In other words, if he do this, this has to happen. That's all that means. Don't try to go deep with that. Because sometimes we try to get deeper than we need to get. You know, farmer will tell you if you plant a seed too deep, it won't live because it has too far to get to the surface of coming through. So they tell you how deep to plant. Y'all getting that? You know, some people want to get deep. That's why their stuff don't never grow. Because you was too deep. Okay, so meanwhile, back at the ranch. He says, for whatsoever man sows or soweth, that shall he also reap. I'm excited. Because it says, if he sow it, he going to reap it. It's got to come back. Which is a law of nature. I'm helping now. I know we don't like to do this in church. We just want to do Holy Ghost, don't leave me. And we want. No, I'm sorry. You're going to have to learn something today. It's a law of nature. There's another law of nature. That right there was a law. I don't care how excited I get. If I throw that up, I can turn and walk away if I want to. That's a law. Everybody say, let's abide by the law today. Okay, so that's a law. That's a law. Those are two laws. God has put them in place. He says, whatsoever a man soweth, he ought to reap that. Watch this though. In this law, a seed can only produce what it is and from whence it came. Can't do nothing else. I don't care how much y'all enjoying yourself being up here in Georgia and saying, boy, they got some nice sweet Georgia watermelons. Ooh, you can go back to Florida. If you plant orange seeds, you can be wanting watermelons all you want to. You can only get based on what the seed came from. Let me show y'all something about God. Can we go back over to Genesis for a minute? See, God in Genesis, he didn't give man seed to plant. He gave him a vineyard already planted. I'm finna help somebody. And what he told him is, if you want to do this again, don't eat up all the seeds. Hold some of them and plant them again. And you can get some more of these. Y'all didn't get that. Let me tell you what I just told you. Man has always listened to God until it's time to hear God. I gave you all these trees, got all these fruit on it. Eat the fruit, enjoy the fruit, but from the fruit, don't eat the seed. Because you need the seed to get more fruit. Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. Y'all got that? Okay, watch this. Because it's a law. Can I use corn? And the reason I want to use corn is because if you notice here, when God starts talking and when he starts showing us stuff, he's dealing with an area of the mentality of man that he can understand. Ain't no need of me going to Morehouse and getting into a physics class. I don't understand physics like that. So what God did was he was talking and he said, what would these folk understand? Got it. Farming. If I start talking to them about farming, they're going to be good. Huh? Just like right now, if in this day and time, if Jesus was walking the earth and he was trying to make some points down, he would say this right here. He would say, okay, they're not getting this. They don't know nothing about farming. They ain't never farmed before, and they don't know what a cotton field look like. They don't need to doing that. Somebody hand me a cell phone. Did you get it? See, y'all trying to hand me a cell phone. That's what Jesus would do. He would say, everybody who got a cell phone, get your cell phone out, turn it on. Go to settings. How do I know this? Because when Ed is away from me and I need to do something with my phone, he'll say, Dad, go to settings. I go to settings. He say, scroll down where it says display. Watch this. What I'm telling you is when Jesus deals with us, oftentimes he deals with us based on what we can under. So in this day and time, in this text, he was talking to folk in the country. So he said, farmer. Sometimes he was near Savannah. And he would say, fisherman. Y'all ain't following me. I need you closer. Come on, don't be scared. Get close to me. He was talking to them based on their understanding. Not his, because he know everything. So he said, listen, farmer, listen, you do understand whatever seed you plant, that's what you're going to get back. They agreed. They was walking hand in hand with Jesus. This is good. So what? Huh? So what? Oh, that's the topic. I just slid that into you. I want to talk today from so what? So what? Watch this. So I'm talking about corn. And I did a little research because I ain't the smartest bubble on the beach, but I do understand a few things. One kernel of corn, or if you say a corn seed, has the ability to produce a plant which can yield more than 100 kernels. Y'all missed it. See, it still has to yield corn. You can't get away from the natural law. Whatsoever a man soweth, that's what's got to come up. But look at what God has done. You can take one kernel of corn, plant it properly, it'll raise one stalk of corn. On that stalk, it's going to have at least one ear of corn. On that ear, it's going to have at least 600 kernels of the same thing that you planted. Y'all ain't there yet. Every now and then when you get a bumper crop, it may have 2 ears. That means now you got 12 for one seed. I'm finna turn this on y'all because y'all think y'all in good shape right now. Watch this. So one kernel of corn I'm teaching today. One kernel of corn today can produce a plant which can yield more than 600 kernels. 1 for 600. Y'all ain't even getting it yet. 1 for 600. Watch this, and watch this. Well, I guess you're wondering, why is Pastor talking about corn today? Well, it is the lesson God would have me, watch this, this is the lesson God would have me and have us to understand concerning reaping and sowing. First of all, brothers and sisters, if you sow, it's obvious that you're getting back more than you sowed. You're getting the same of what you sowed. You're just getting more of it. Can I teach you a little bit? I'm so glad to be 61. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. It would be fair if you sowed a seed and got a kernel back, because you got what you sowed. But you're sowing a seed and you're getting 600 back. Everybody in here, when it comes to, this is the only time I'm going to touch on this, because if I keep touching on it, y'all get, y'all walk away from me. You don't have a problem with giving God a dime out of $1. Any of you sitting there looking at me like I'm crazy? That is such an easy task. A dime out of $1? Okay. I got time. I can stay here until 3 if I need to. Listen. How many of you would turn me down if I say, for every $1 I give you, all I need you to do is give me a dime back? How many of y'all say that ain't fair? I don't want to do that. I'm leaving you with 90 cents of $1. All I want back is 10. One dime. Ain't nobody finna argue that. But as Pastor Audrey said, he been so good to us, Jamil. It's okay when it's a dime out of $1. Huh? It ain't okay when it's $100 out of 1,000. Same dime. Dime didn't change. Huh? If we would just do right by the principle, huh? See, we're so blessed. We want to change the way God set it up. In other words, we don't want what goes up to come down no more. Huh? Because it's the same principle. We don't want what we sow to be what we reap no more. I'm trying to help somebody. In other words, we got too much. Huh? I used to tell people all the time, people are quick to tell you, well, I can't do all that. I'm on a fixed income. You mean to tell me your income is fixed? I wish mine was fixed. Mine ain't fixed. I got to go out and do something to make it happen. You just have to go to the mailbox. It's fixed. But it ain't enough. Oh, it's more than enough. It's just that you got other stuff eating the seed. Huh? Should have bought a Ford instead of a Caddy. Because your fixed income said you got Ford money. But the dealer told you you could buy a Cadillac. You can't buy a Cadillac with Ford money. You're going to feel like you've been cheated with your crazy self. So, I got to hurry up and get this done. Because if I don't hurry up and get this done, so churches should be running over. And somebody said, I ain't finna take my money over to the church for the church to keep all my money. He called it a storehouse. How you upset with God? He said a storehouse. And a storehouse is a place that you store. So, if God, watch restoration. It ain't going to be this Sunday, Jamil. It'll probably be like next Sunday or probably next month. Okay? Because I'm finna prick some hearts right now. What if God bless you based on what you call your tithe? I gave the church $5. God said, okay, next month you get 50. Your paycheck is 50. You missed it. Y'all missed that. What if God blessed us based on what we tithe? I didn't say he blessed you with 50 and you gave 5. You gave 5 when he blessed you with 500. So now here God stands saying, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. But he did not include quantity. All he said was same thing. I'm finna make it hard for the people at home to hear. I'm gonna put the mic down, because I really just want y'all to hear it, but I can't stop Facebook Live. Here we have God blessing us. And here we have us cheating him. And here we have us testifying, Lord, if you bless me with a good job, I'm going to tithe. And let me tell you when I know that goes south. When all of a sudden you get the good job and then you call pastor and say, now, do I supposed to give from my gross or from my net? Let me tell you how I know it just went south, because you trying to figure out which one is lesser that you got to give back to God from. And you know, I'm one of them crazy preachers, because the other preachers don't do that because they don't want to lose membership. I'm one of them that I can't play that game no more. I did that for 30 plus years. So I just tell them like this. Tell you what you do. You want to know if you give from your gross or from your net? Give from the same one the government get theirs from. Government don't let you pay for your health care, let you pay all of your insurances and pay off this, and you got a loan that you got a direct deposit. The government don't do that. They be like, whatever he made on the top line, that's what government need to get theirs from. And on top of that, I'm finna go back to the sermon because I done got away from the sermon. And then he says, not only I want from the top line, but if he goes into a different category, I need to bump it up some more. Am I teaching young folk? So from now on, when you get ready to give your tithe, don't you let me see you being in charge and I got you over stuff and did that, and you giving $5. Ain't never a time that you got a job that you should be able to give $5 and be comfortable. If we're going to do church, let's do it right. And if you want to learn something real big, start tithing based on what you want to give. Now, can I go back? Okay. That was a station identification break. We're going back to the sermon now. Watch this. Watch this. It's important, not only sowing, but more importantly, what we sow. Because we try to lock this particular thought in with just finances. Not only sowing, but more importantly, what we sow. Listen at the warning. Take heed to the warning. Whatever a man sow. He didn't limit that to finances. He just said, whatever you sow, he will also reap. But not only what, but also how much. Y'all got time? Y'all got time? 2 Corinthians. Mama better write that down for Johnny later on. 2 Corinthians. Watch this. Watch this. In 2 Corinthians, I got excited about this because a lot of times we miss this completely because we want to. 2 Corinthians, 9th chapter. I'm looking here. I'm looking here, Deke, at the 6th verse. He says, but this I say, he which soweth sparingly. You with your crazy self, you're trying to trick God. I told you. First of all, over here in Galatians 6 and 7, come on, y'all. Over here in 6 and 7, he said, don't be deceived. You're deceiving yourself when you think you can hold back from God and still get much from God. Stop doing that. He said, be not deceived. In other words, if you let me do this, and I know some people are going to turn me off everywhere all over America today. Watch this. Be not deceived. God is not a fool. He says here, watch this, in 2 Corinthians. I told y'all in 2 Corinthians what? 9 and what? 6. He says this, but this I say, he which soweth sparingly shall also reap. You can't come up without obedience. This is a law. You sow it sparingly, you're going to always be bumming. Because what you got, you ain't giving it right. You're trying to hold on to what would help you if you let it go. I'm sorry. It's another part of that. He says here sparingly, and he which soweth bountifully. You ever notice you got certain people who always have the ability to give? She ain't here today. This is a good time to talk about her. I was going to use Sister Rena, but I ain't going to use her because she's here. And I don't want her to get the big head. So I'm going to use somebody who ain't here. Sister Brooks. Pretty much everybody's birthday, you either going to get a card with a little piece of money or something like that. How can she do that when some of us can't even do right? We be telling you, hey, look, I got you this card, but look here, I'm going to break you off something, but you give me a couple of weeks. You need a couple of weeks to give me a birthday gift? I'll just take the card. We good. Let somebody die. Here she come. It's a card for you. You open it. And I'm like my mama. I open it and shake it before I read it. See, y'all be trying to be, I be seeing y'all sometimes you open your little cards, you be sitting there like, and it says this on the front and that on the front. Look at that, there's a Bible verse right there. Look at this, okay, yeah. Y'all just go on and stop playing the game. When you open the card, just go, I'll read this later. It done already said what I wanted it to say. So, if you, how you sow. Everybody say how you sow. And a lot of times, if you want it, give it. That don't make sense. That's a God principle. Man principle says if you want it, save it. Huh? They learned that long time ago in the Old Testament. God rained down manna from above. Any Bible readers in here? He told them, he said, now go out and get enough for the day. Just get enough for the day. If everybody in your house, get enough and y'all go ahead and eat. Don't worry about it. I got y'all. I'm going to rain you some more tomorrow. Huh? You had somebody say, they got enough for the day and for next week. The Bible says when they woke up the next morning, that which they tried to sabotage and hide from God, it had maggots in it. You can't cheat him. Whatever God got, when he said, I'll give you your daily bread, it probably only be good for a day. We'll talk about that some other time. Let me get out of here. So that point was based on whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. 2 Corinthians 9 and 6 says, sow sparingly, reap sparingly. Sow bountifully, reap bountifully. Let's review. Okay. I'm doing the Corey now. Because, right there, that's where Cochran would have turned the corner and said, and no, I ain't finna do that. I'm going to do the Corey today. So now let's review. In other words, now let's go over. What have we learned today? I know all my ministers. I can do all of them if I want to. I can do every one of them if I want to. Let's review. If one kernel of corn or one corn seed can return a harvest of no less than 600 kernels, but as much as 1,200 kernels. Therefore, one bad deed. See, a lot of us are reaping bad deed seeds. Did y'all get that? But I only did it one time. Yeah, you did one seed, but now it seems like 600 kernels of bad deed seeds are following you around. You trying to be mad at God. You wasn't mad at it when you got more than what you planted on the good side. So ain't no need of you tripping about the fact that you did wrong. In other words, I know you only lied one time, but don't it seem like now everybody lying on you? Because you're reaping. And it's a law. If you sow a lie seed, oh, I wish, Evelina, I wish that one lie seed would only get you one lie back on you. That ain't how it worked, though. You always reap more of a harvest than what you planted. Am I teaching good? Okay, so now watch this. So if there's one bad deed or one bad seed could harvest, I'm going to let you do the math. You know, sometimes we did, so I grew up in the 70s, 60s and 70s. When I grew up, I didn't get grown until about 8 years ago. Y'all missed that. See, you can grow up and not be grown. Huh? Just like the way the world is set up, the reason the world is in such bad shape is because ain't no shortage of males. It's just that we got a shortage on men. Y'all ain't trying to help me. I know it's a little tight, but that's just how God is. He's redone me. You know, being a male ain't nothing but plumbing. Where the grown folk at? Darrell, I just said something that y'all was supposed to say. Ooh, he said that. Being a male, it don't take nothing but plumbing. Y'all still ain't got it. Watch this. In order to be a male, it just means your plumbing is different from a woman. Y'all don't understand yet. The Bible said we are the temple, and the temple has plumbing. In the men's restroom, there's a spot. You don't have to sit down to use it. Because our plumbing, y'all ain't, I'm trying to keep from just coming out and say it. You can be a male, not being a man. Because being a male suggests your plumbing is different. Being a man suggests that your understanding of responsibility . And as the Temptation said, and the band played on. So we're not just sowers, but we're sowers of something. We have the ability and potential to sow good seed as well as bad seed. Oh, don't you play with that now. Some of us, it's going to take us 2 more lifetimes to get all our harvest in from some of the bad seeds. Every now and then when something happened to me that make me go, why would that happen? I just say, okay, Lord, I got you. Just don't let it kill me. And then God is he's so faithful, Dorothy. Nobody else don't know it but you. He'll let you remember when you sowed the bad seed. If y'all read, back to the Bible readers, if y'all read, y'all will find out that every time when something crazy happened with David didn't get mad at nobody else. He was like, I know I did that. If we would take responsibility for what we've planted and what we've sowed, then our harvest won't flip us out. Some of y'all are just tore up because of your harvest. Oh my God, what is all of this? What you sowed? I'm going to load it up and take it to your house. My conclusion. So in my conclusion, so why does our sowing seem ineffective? Huh? Why is our sowing ineffective? I know all of us in here have done some sowing. My mama used to say this, just make sure your good outweigh your bad. What she was saying was, hopefully you done sold more good. Because you're going to get both of them back. So I just asked the question and we're getting out of here with it. So why is our sowing ineffective? I've got people that I know, Auntie Dot, they have to admit that I did some wonderful things for them. And it's amazing that you can do wonderful things and then do a thing. And folk will try to play like you ain't never did nothing. So why is our sowing ineffective? It might, and this is for my family out of Miami, it might not be what you're sowing, but it very well could be where you're sowing. Oh boy, God has made this thing so easy. I'm back in the Bible again. Matthew 13. Matthew 13 does not discredit the seed that the farmer sowed. Matthew 13 and 5 says these words, that while the sowing, watch this, it says it in 4. Let's start in 3. And he spake many things unto them in parables, saying, behold, a sower went forth to sow. He had everything he needed. Probably good seed. Y'all following me still? To sow. The 4th verse says, and when he sowed, some seeds fell by the wayside, and fowls came and devoured them up. Good seed. Y'all ain't following me. Yeah. Good. They devoured them up. Verse 5 says, some fell upon stony places where they had not much earth, and forthwith they sprung up because they had no depthness of earth. My God. And when the sun was up, they were scorched. And because they had not root, they withered away. 7th verse says, and some fell among thorns. You got to be careful where you sow. Some fell amongst thorns. You're a believer now. You got to be careful where you sow. You know, just because y'all all work for the same company, you ain't got to go to happy hour. You got to be careful. You got to be careful because first of all, the folk who go to happy hour religiously, they happy to be at happy hour. You sitting at happy hour trying to be a Christian. What you gonna have? I'm just gonna have a Coke. Why you in a place where we sell alcohol and all you want is a Coke? You need to do like the rest of the Christians. Go home to your house so you can put some in your Coke. I just blessed y'all and y'all don't even know it. When you see me, I'm a Christian. When I get to the house, you know, get the Coke in the fridge. But what you put in the Coke, because you don't want the children to be messed up, it's in the closet. I told somebody, I said, it's a lot of folk that are closet drinkers. That don't mean they drinking in the closet. They mean they stuff is in the closet. That was deep. That was just me. That was just Cochran right there. So watch this. I'm finishing up. Y'all let me finish. Stop that. Let me finish. Watch this. And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprung up and choked them. You know, ain't it amazing that I don't care how much you try to plant good seeds in your yard for your grass to look like carpet, weeds will find their way in. How many of y'all know weeds normally win over grass? If you don't believe me, I got weeds growing in our parking lot, not in the dirt. in the asphalt. A weed will grow out of a sidewalk. You be sitting there like, how did that come up? And you notice that good seed will only grow out of good soil. So here you are with good seeds, but you're planting it in bad soil. Taking my money over there to them preachers. Okay, don't take it to the preachers. Take it to your club members. Take it to the place that ain't gonna give you no return. You can't even tell God you've been faithful with your finances. I want to be able to say, God, I'm struggling right now. You know I've been faithful. Paying Capital One, paying Wells Fargo, paying your Visa, paying all of these credit cards. That ain't faithful. You got a good credit score in the earth, but your credit is lacking in glory. This is a side. This is just something I'm throwing into y'all. Have y'all checked y'all credit score with God lately? Yeah, you're sowing, and you're sowing good seed. Them good seeds. Huh? Them good seeds. The fact that you, he said here, he said it's a lot of things. He said there's a lot of things you can sow. He said there's a lot of things you can sow into that is not beneficial. It's good to sow into friends. I've been sowing into this guy my whole life. I ain't finna stop. Huh? Because when he answers the phone, when I call him, he don't say what. His response to me is what you need. See, that's a friend, yeah. Some of us, when we see the phone ring, we go, hey, Elder, I need to holler at you. What you need, Reb? That's a friend. If that ain't what you getting from somebody, you got a frenemy. In other words, you got somebody who's your friend only when you're doing the giving. If you got to pay somebody to be a friend, I think they call that's illegal, ain't it? Don't say it. Don't say what it is when you have to pay. Rena, no. She said, no, let that one go. I shouldn't have to pay you to be my friend. In other words, if I say to you, we're gonna hang out, you gonna pay for the, no, I ain't gonna be able to pay this time. No, I think I'm gonna have to go with my cousin them this time. You got a friend of me. You sowing into a friend of me. And anybody who has a friend of me, let me help y'all. If you got a friend of me, your friend of me got a friend. Y'all missed it. It's a friend of me that you got, but that friend of me has a friend. In other words, this is where you, this your friend of me. Your friend of me ain't got nobody down here. Your friend of me got somebody over here. This is just who I am, D. Watch this. Your friend of me don't care about you. All right. So now you done sold into that. And you're trying to figure out why ain't nothing coming up. Huh? That's my son right there. I don't have a son except for the ones who I've taken on lately. And I thank God that they're doing well. That's my son right there. before his brothers, which is Edwin and Aaron, were even able to drive a car, I taught him how to drive. Oh, wait. That's normally where it stops. You're on your own after that. I've bought him 2 cars. I know some of y'all saying, you ain't got no more sunspots? I didn't buy them for him to feel indebted. But he never forgets. And can't nobody fool him. A lot of things were said to him when we were at Floyd Chapel. And he was steady over there playing, doing what he do. But when I would call him, he never said, "What's up, Charles?" He said, "Hey, Pastor." He never lost the respect because he knew what he had gotten. He knew I wasn't a frenemy. Huh? As a son, I had been a provider. And God says, we being his children, even though sometimes he let us go through tough spots, he's a provider. My boys, my 2 sons, biologically, they don't feel bad about the fact that I've done that for Daryl, because they done tore up cars that I done bought them. Somebody asked my baby girl earlier today, "How long you been driving?" I said, "You got a car." "Wow, you got a car." She didn't even tell them. My daddy done bought me 2 cars. I told both of them up. I'm on my 3rd one. We got frenemies and we're sowing into the wrong places. Huh? I'm telling all of my children right now, when I get to that age, Johnny, I don't know how long it's going to be if something happens, because medically things are happening to us every day. My auntie, who we funeralized yesterday, she was doing very well. She was up. She was driving. She was shopping. She was doing this. 2 weeks later, she was in a place where she didn't know she was in the world. We funeralized her yesterday. Things are happening. And all I asked God was, "God, I hope I'm sowing the kind of seeds into my children that if I'm sitting there somewhere, maybe in a wheelchair, they'll at least come by and wipe my mouth." But you got to sow that. You can't hope for that. They got to feel like it ain't nothing my daddy wouldn't do for me. I ain't finna leave him now. Because sowing brings back what you sowed. Don't sow into places that it's not possible that you can reap. I'm done. Wherever you sow, check it with God. Just because somebody walk up and, "Man, everybody got a line." My homeboy's sitting there right now. He got on black and white. You know they matching. He got on black and white. But if me and him wanted to, first of all, he from Miami. We could do this. Me and him, I could say, "Come by the office. We're going to go stand right up there on Evans Mill. You get the left side, I get the right side." If we stand there long enough with our cup, somebody will give us something. But we shouldn't roll our window down and sow to everybody who walk up with a cup. Sometimes we keeping people on the street. We think we helping somebody. "Well, I got to help him. I got to help him. Ain't no way in the world I can not help him." I told my son-in-law, we got a young man who comes by here about every 3 weeks. He just comes by and give me a story. He kept giving me story, giving me story, giving me story. And then I got a son who was addicted to crack cocaine. And he told me, he said, "Don't give him another dime. You're an enabler. Your heart is too. You're not helping. You're sowing into a bad place." So we can sow into a bad place. So he came up to me this morning. He said, "Man, I know what I told you. I know what I told you." He don't even call me preacher. He don't call me pastor. He called me something else that's got something to do with churches. whatever. But anyway, he calls me that, and he said to me, he said, I know what I told you. I know you told. I told you next time I come by, I was going to be doing something. I want to do something for the church and this and that. He said, but man, I'm really, really going through something. And I just, man, do you have anything you can give me? I said, I don't have a dime. And I felt bad by saying that. So I didn't let him leave. I said, I apologize. I got money. I said, but you can't have anything today. Because see, sometimes we will say we ain't got, which puts us in a worse place than the person who's asking, because now you just lied. And the Bible says a liar won't tarry. So I wouldn't let him leave. I said, you know what? I got money. I said, but you tapped out. Why you tapped out? Because you ain't kept your word, but you want me to keep giving mine. I can't sow into a bad place anymore. Huh? Because now God is saying, I'm blessing you, and you giving it to the swine. No. Not that the man was a swine, but his circumstance was swiny. I hope they got that on Facebook. His circumstance was swiny. Be careful where you're sowing. You ain't going to ever go wrong sowing into a ministry. Let me tell you why. Because even if the preacher is wrong, God will still make sure whatever you sow to his house is beneficial to somebody in the house. God will remove him. Huh? Because he said the gates of hell shall not prevail. Stop sowing into areas that have no opportunity or ability to bring a harvest. And stop sowing sparingly. You don't vacation sparingly. You plan to vacation. One day I'm going to do that. Almost 35 years, Johnny, I ain't really ever took 2 weeks. Even if I ain't here Sunday, somewhere between that week, I'm there. I want to go too. God say, I've been sending you a long time and you've been sowing into the wrong thing. Take care of my house, and my house is supposed to take care of community, members when they need help. Your sowing could be wrong. So once again, let's review. So what? I don't care what you've been sowing. So what? 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 Sow good seed. Love's a good seed to sow. Huh? Sow good seeds. Huh? Sow them in good ground. Because you don't know what lurks underground. Always consult. You know they got that thing, I think it's called call 611 before you dig. Because a lot of times you dig and you hit power lines. People been killed because they didn't know what was right under the soil. See, everybody's going to give you a topsoil. You got to find out what's under the soil before you put your seed in that ground. Huh? And when you sow, God will tell you that's good ground. Stop trying to figure out, but I don't even know her, God. Huh? Dorothy, if God tell you, go back there and sow to Rena. Don't be talking about something. Pastor always say Rena doing good. It's ain't about who doing good. See, sometimes we don't want to sow. I've known people that'll say, man, I ain't sowing to that preacher. He doing better than me. And that's why you ain't doing better. If he's giving you the work. I'm sorry. I was done. I really was done. I was done. I was done. In the Word of God, it says that we ought, in the 6th verse of the sixth chapter of Galatians, it says, let him that is taught in the word, watch this, let him that is taught in the word communicate unto him that teacheth, that teacheth in all good things. I've done revivals and churches have compensated to me, and Johnny knows it. He was right there. I've had members of some of those churches walk up, bro, and they just do like that and put a piece of money in my hand. They say, I know church took care of you, but I wanted to do something personal. God told me to do something. He told me if it was something I wanted to sow into you. I just got a check. Why are you sowing into me? That's what I used to do. And most of the time, I would look at Johnny and I'd say, Johnny, who that is over there needs something? I don't know, Pastor. And I say, here, take this to him. I just keep that cycle going. Facebook family, I love you. We'll see y'all later. See you next Sunday. I'm done with them right now.